Good morning, students. Today we are going to discuss about third part, third lecture of your chapter General Principles and Process of Isolation of Element. This is extraction of aluminium. Lecture 3 it is. Here we are going for extraction of aluminium. So extraction of aluminium is very important to understand the extraction of element placed above aluminium, including aluminium as well, aluminium and above aluminium in reactivity series. And most of the elements above aluminium are S block elements, and they all are extracted by the same way. That extraction method is same. Concentration might be different, refining might be different, but the extraction will always be same, right? So concentration, as we know, the main ore of aluminium is bauxite. So concentration of bauxite is first step, and on the basis of impurities in bauxite ore, generally in bauxite there are three type of impurities are there. One is impurities of iron oxide Fe2O3, other one is SiO2, and last one is TiO2. TiO2 generally is minor impurity. Main impurities are Fe2O3 and SiO2. So methods completely based on the separation of these impurities. Bauxite also classified on basis of the impurities. If it has major impurity as Fe2O3 and minor as say SiO2 and TiO2, then the bauxite would be red bauxite, and if it has main impurities of SiO2, then that oxide would be white oxide, right? So red bauxite and white bauxites are two type of bauxite generally we can see. And methods of concentration, these all methods included under leaching based on it. Generally Bayer's method is specifically for Fe2O3, Serpek's method is specifically for SiO2, and Hall process is for miscellaneous for actually both the type of impurities, right? So Bayer's method is first method. You can see in that method initially finally powdered bauxite we use, in which Fe2O3 is a major impurity and SiO2 and TiO2 are minor impurities. First calcination, so FeO, if there are, convert into Fe2O3, and then digested with 45% NaOH solution. Digested means thoroughly mixing with ore. So what would happen with NaOH? Na, aluminium and silicon form sodium salt, sodium aluminate and sodium silicate, and remain in filtrate, but iron and titanium form PPT and remain in residue. Afterwards, as this is a method of precipitation actually, and remember aluminium is initially precipitate in presence of NaOH, but it is dissolved in excess of NaOH, right? So because we digested calcined ore with 45% NaOH solution, and that's why it is found in filtrate. But if we decrease the concentration of NaOH by any mean, it again precipitate. So for this purpose there are two methods for it. One is dilute water together. Dilute water, first one is, so if we dilute water, concentration of NaOH decrease, and if concentration of NaOH decrease, aluminum hydroxide precipitate. And the second one, pass CO2 gas. We know CO2 is acidic gas, and if we pass CO2 gas, it reacts with NaOH and form Na2CO3. And in that case, concentration of NaOH again decrease. So purpose of this step to just decrease concentration of NaOH. In that case, aluminium hydroxide again form PPT. Aluminium hydroxide also some amount of it is added in it as a seeding agent. It induces precipitation by the effect of common ion effect. It induces precipitation by common ion effect. Right. In filtrate, we could find, because silicon oxide is acidic oxide, so it never precipitate and filtered out, and in residue we could get aluminium hydroxide, and on heating it convert into aluminium oxide. This step is common in all this step is common in all three methods. So just understand this step, and very important step it is actually. So wherever sodium available in solution, you need to precipitate it out, just diluted it or pass CO2 or diluted or pass CO2 along with adding seeding agent as aluminium hydroxide. Right. Now Serpex method is the second method. In Serpex method, again finally powdered bauxite heating with coke powder. On heating with coke powder, you also can see the various reaction, what reaction happen in this process. You can see Fe2O3 which precipitated out, aluminium will form NaLO2. So all those reactions I had also given here, right? Now hot dilute NaOH solution added, and so on heating at 1800 degrees Celsius, what will happen? It is very easy to know. With coke powder, when we heat at 1800 degrees Celsius, what will happen? Carbon monoxide and silicon form. Silicon SiO2 reduced by coke and form silicon. So silicon removed from here only. Now remaining aluminium nitride and Fe2O3 TiO2 impurities, they again the same Bayer's process from here, digested with solution, digested with NaOH, filtered out, residue separated, filtered, and then diluted with water together and passing CO2. So we will get aluminium hydroxide and PaL2. So the first step is different, other steps are almost same, and the reactions are also given here. Aluminium hydroxide, this reaction is very neat. Remember to know, wherever any nitride hydrolyze, always form NH3. Phosphide hydrolyze, always form PH3. Carbide hydrolyze, this is different. Right. Now Hall process. Hall's process, in which this is for both, as I already mentioned earlier, fused at 1100 degrees Celsius together with Na2CO3 and little CaCO3, and finally extracted with water and filtered. So by this all process, what we would get? With Na2CO3 it form NaSiO3. So other impurities separated out, and the remaining is filtrate, in which sodium aluminium hydroxide is there. Pass CO2, so what we would get? A residue of aluminium hydroxide and pure Al2O3 we could get. Right. So this is Hall's process. So all processes are just slightly different, but all are given. Hall's process is nowadays very useful because it is for both type of impurities, or it remove both type of impurities significantly. Right. Here we are going to electrolysis of alumina process. During electrolysis of alumina process, there are two main difficulties are there. First one is, aluminium oxide has very predominantly covalent compound. It has higher covalent character as compared to ionic character. It is a covalent like character, higher, more covalent character in it. So it less conducting in melted state, and difficult to dissociate or ionize. Two things are there. It is less conducting, difficult to ionize, and very high melting point due to high lattice enthalpy. So three important issues, three problems with the electrolysis of alumina generally. So melting of pure alumina is very high, as I already mentioned. So cryolite and fluorspar is added to alumina to lower its melting point. Cryolite and fluorspar form constant fusing mixture, and this mixture, constant fusing mixture, this mixture melt up to 875 to 925. We had discussed about constant boiling mixture and solution part. They form constant fusing mixture, and that constant fusing mixture melt or fused below the melting point of any component of the mixture. Conductance of Al2O3 also low, so fluorspar and cryolite also increase the conductance of mixture. Cryolite here also act as solvent. The mainly fluorspar increase conductance. Initially at 900 degrees Celsius, reaction mixture consists of this. You can see only Al2O3, Na plus Ca2 plus Al3 plus F minus ions are there. Al3 plus initially come from cryolite. No Al2O3 initially come from bauxite. What will happen at anode? As we know, always oxidation occur at anode. F minus initially react with Al2O3 and convert into AlF3. Nobody can say no to fluoride ion. So it form aluminum fluoride and oxide. And 3O2 minus gives 3 by 2 O2 plus 6 electron. O2 liberated at anode react with graphite rod and form CO2 and CO and light. C plus O2 will give CO2. Thus carbon of graphite anode is consumed, and therefore graphite need replacement after some time. To remove the problem of light, coke powder is added in electrode. Remember, you can see at anode oxygen produced, and this oxygen at that temperature react with graphite rod. Those are act as anode here. I already mentioned carbon which act as cathode and graphite act as anode. So this oxygen react with graphite and form carbon dioxide or carbon monoxide. It may interrupt the process. It is very easy to understand. It may interrupt the process. That's why some coke powder is added or spread over the surface of the reaction mixture or discharge. And what will happen at cathode? Reduction of aluminium. So by the diagram here we can see, this is the diagram, this is the container on which the covering of graphite is put, the covering of graphite here, and it would act as cathode, and this graphite rod act as anode. Here molten cryolite and Al2O3 CF2 is placed, filled, and on heating, on the process, aluminium collected here, oxygen evolved from here, which may react with this anode rod, graphite rod. That's why some coke is spread over there. Aluminium which is extracted remain at the bottom, can be separated out from here. So this is electrolysis of aluminium. All other electrolysis almost done by the same method. One is collected like in sodium chloride electrolysis, sodium collected here and chlorine evolved from there. In magnesium chloride electrolysis, same would happen, magnesium collected here and chlorine over there, right? So all those processes are used to be, and this cryolite and aluminum oxide, sometimes CaF2 in sodium chloride method, CaF2 is also added to increase conductivity of sodium chloride, and magnesium chloride same, BaF2 will be added. So all the method is same, electrolysis. Some small mix components might be different, components of mixture might be different, right? But the method is almost same. And third is purification of aluminium. This is Hoop's method for purification of aluminium. And in this method is also very important because it is also called layered method for purification. In this method, these are graphite rod, again they act as cathode, and this carbon line act as anode. It is reverse of extraction process. This lining, carbon lining act as cathode in that process, that extraction, but here it is anode. Now three layers are used, three layers made for extraction. The bottom layer contain impure aluminium. This bottom layer contain impure aluminium. Middle layer contain mixture of molten sodium chloride, barium fluoride is used here, and aluminium fluoride. Right, and the above layer, impure aluminium is used here. Right, so by these three methods, what will happen? Impure aluminium initially oxidize, because oxidation occurs in anode, and then discharge from here and travel toward here, because it is, so initially aluminium convert into Al3 plus and then travel toward this electrode and reduce here from Al3 plus to aluminium. So it oxidize, Al3 plus oxidize here and reduce here. Al gives Al3 plus here at anode, oxidation at anode, and reduction at cathode. So this is purification of aluminium. The specific gravity of upper layer is lowest, while that of bottom layer is highest, because impure aluminium has a high specific gravity, pure aluminium has low specific gravity. So spontaneously, passively or actively here, aluminium 3 plus ion travel from lower layer to higher layer. Now some other extraction processes are also there. One is copper from low grade ores in scraps. If we need to, generally it is need to extract copper from low grade ore, means it has these ores has less percentage of copper. So hydrometallurgy it is called. Cu2 plus H2 gives Cu plus 2H plus. So here H2 reduce Cu2 plus. Electrochemistry by electrochemical series, it is a feasible process. You can see Cu2 plus easily to reduce, and hydrogen oxidize it. Hydrogen reduce it. Hydrogen act as reducing agent here, right? Oxidation reduction. This is again the same method that we had discussed in electrochemistry, that electrolysis of brine solution. So in this process, Cl minus oxidize and water reduce. So common oxidation reduction process are there. So these are some other methods. In cyanide method, we had also discussed the oxidation reduction method, where gold displaced by zinc. So gold reduce and zinc oxidize. In cyanide method you can see, so that is also included under oxidation reduction method also, right? So this is all about that extraction of aluminium. And very important, as I already mentioned earlier, that if we understand the extraction of aluminium, we can understand extraction of all metals. Those can be extracted by electrolytic methods. Remember, it is not I'm not going to say that other elements or aluminum or above metal placed above aluminum cannot be extracted by carbon reduction method. They can be extracted by carbon reduction method, but remember, the methods would not be inexpensive in that case, because very high temperature required, as we had discussed in Ellingham diagram, very high temperature required for their extraction. That's why aluminium and metal placed above aluminium in reactivity series, or in short I can say S block elements and aluminium, generally prepared by electrolytic methods. And transition metals, D block metals or some P block metals also can be prepared by either by carbon reduction method, by self reduction method, by aluminium reduction method. Aluminium can also be used as a reduction method, right? So we can also use I did not mention in any exercise, any slide, extraction by aluminium, but remember, aluminium can be used as extract reducing agent. So here I'm going to speak Fe2O3 will react with Al and gives Al2O3 plus Fe. I had mentioned about it in after some question in Ellingham diagram, but this is called thermite process, aluminothermite process, where if the thermite process or aluminothermite process, in this process aluminium acts as reducing agent in place of carbon 9. So aluminium can reduce iron, can reduce chromium, right? So these are some methods also there. So remember, it is all about this for you. That remaining last part of the show we'll discuss in next video. Thank you.